Welcome everyone, my name is Alexis Bonilla and I've created this presentation called What is Power? I decided to put this together because in listening to a lot of people discuss, like there's a book called The 48 Laws of Power, and power is very important. And when listening to what that book was about, well, I kind of came to the realization that number one, that book does not define what power is. So I found it rather odd. So I started to research and I tried to define it in my mind, and I had a hard time. So I decided to gather my thoughts, research, and thoroughly understand what power is, and this is the product of that research. So what is power? So it is very important. Why is it important to understand power? Okay, it is very important because if you don't understand what power is and how it operates, then you cannot understand these concepts properly. One, who you are, who God is, sovereignty, authority, slavery, and there's many other concepts which when we go through this, you'll start seeing the importance of power. So I'm sure you've heard some secret societies say, man, know thyself. Well, there's a reason why they say it. Now, they don't have the best intent in mind, but they do understand a few things. So let's go ahead and proceed. Power. What people call God is actually the source of life and everything. So the concept of God, basically, he is the all-powerful. He's omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent. So there's three attributes that he is the all-powerful in those three attributes. Okay. Omniscient, the wisest; omnipotent, the strongest; and omnipresent, he's everywhere. Okay. All right, so God is the source of life and everything. And in 1 Corinthians chapter 8, 5 through 6, it says, "For though there be that are called gods, whether in heaven or in earth, as there be gods many, and lords many, but to us there is but one God, the Father, of whom are all things, and we in him, and one Lord, Jesus Christ, by whom are all things, and we by him." Psalms 121, 1 through 2 says, "I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth." Luke 20 verse 38 says, "For he is not a God of the dead, but of the living, for all live unto him." Okay, so here we're clearly seeing in the scriptures that God is the source of everything. We live in him. He created everything, heaven and earth. So it's very important that we strive to understand who God is, because he is the source of everything. Okay, God is omniscient, like I mentioned earlier. In Psalms 139, 1 through 6, it says, "O Lord, thou hast searched me and known me. Thou knowest my downsitting and mine uprising. Thou understandest my thought afar off. Thou compassest my path and my lying down, and art acquainted with all my ways. For there is not a word in my tongue, but, lo, O Lord, thou knowest it altogether. Thou hast beset me behind and before, and laid thine hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high. I cannot attain unto it." Okay, so here it is clearly saying that God, who is all-knowing, he knows everything about us. What we're thinking, everything. All the ways of man. What we think, what we desire, everything. So it's very important to understand this. Okay, moving on. God is omnipotent. Isaiah chapter 40, verse 29 through 31 says, He giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might he increaseth strength. Even the youths shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. Isaiah chapter 41 verse 10 says, Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee. Yea, I will help thee. Yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me. So strength, power comes from God. Okay, He is the all-powerful. God is omnipresent. Acts 17:28 through 29. For in Him we live and move and have our being, as certain also of your own poets have said. For we are also His offspring. For as much then as we are the offspring of God, we ought not to think that the Godhead is like unto gold, or silver, or stone, graven by art and man's device. Psalms 139:7 through 12 says, Whither shall I go from thy spirit? Or whither shall I flee from thy presence? If I ascend up into heaven, thou art there. If I make my bed in hell, behold, thou art there. If I take the wings of the morning, and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there shall thy hand lead me, and thy right hand shall hold me. If I say, Surely the darkness shall cover me, even the night shall be light about me. Yea, the darkness hideth not from thee, but the night shineth as the day. The darkness and the light are both alike to thee. Okay, so there's nowhere that man can go to flee from God's presence or sight. We have to understand this. So God is omnipresent. We live in Him. Okay, so since God is the source of all power, He is all powerful. Well, the good book, the Bible, the manual of life, tells us that man is created in the image of God. Genesis 1:27 through 28 says, So God created man in His own image. In the image of God created He him. Male and female created He them. And God blessed them. And God said unto them, Be fruitful, and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. Psalms 82:6 through 7 says, I have said, Ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. But ye shall die like men, and fall like one of the princes. Because man has been created in the image of God, we have been given power to exercise dominion over the earth creatures. Okay, so we have been created in God's image. So look at yourself in the mirror and you will see something like what you're seeing here. God created us with this structure. We have one head, we have extremities, and we have our torso, abdomen. Okay? Those are the three parts, and that's the structure of power. So the first part, the head enables us and gives us our conscience, which is spiritual, intellectual, psychological, ideological, or analytical power. The head issues orders to its members. Okay? So the head is very important, and it is the most important power. The head. You will not see anyone walking or any animal walking without a head. It is a dead creature. No life. 2. Arms and legs. Physical power. Power to wage war, defend, build, destroy, carry, etc. Our extremities give us physical power. And, we will discuss how this scales up in the world, how this is used. The third power is our stomach, our abdomen. This represents tastes, our desires, luxuries, beauties, sexual pleasures, commerce, economy. This is the third power. So these are the three powers that we represent. There's three types. There's no more. And this is what makes us powerful. We are beings of power. Life is power. And these three powers put together creates a synergy that can multiply if you understand the power that you have and you properly apply this power justly. Number 1, spiritual power. The head provides us with the power of understanding, thought, analysis, and decision making. This power is dependent on the spirit that God gave us and the spirits that influence us. A person's knowledge or consciousness, what she is aware of, determines the person's religion, truth, or law used to make decisions. At a personal level, these decisions are called orders to members of the body. But at a corporate government level, these are called quote-unquote laws. In essence, they're really men's commandments, because only God can create laws or give laws. But anyway, that's another study. Orders define how physical force is used, and laws determine how government applies force through its military and police. The head can wage spiritual warfare, otherwise known as ideological or psychological warfare. A child who has been taught that he can go straight to heaven and receive 70 virgins if he dies performing holy war, which is jihad, against non-Muslims, has been spiritually enslaved. When we lie, we are waging spiritual warfare. When we try to captivate the opposite sex via smooth words, we are waging spiritual warfare. In other words, known as politics. Okay? So this is the power of our head. It is spiritual power. And a lot of people call and know spirits and the influence of spirits, they know it as emotions. Physical power. This is very straightforward, not very difficult to understand. Our arms and legs provide us with physical power that enables us to plant, move things, build a house, destroy things, wage war, and defend ourselves. Physical warfare. A person can be physically subjugated, or even entire nations can be subjugated by force of arms. This is the most easily identifiable form of power, as its use is not difficult to comprehend. Okay. Commercial power. Commercial power enables us to utilize material wealth to buy or sell things which are necessary for the subsistence of the body, or to acquire luxuries or pleasures. It is also used to coerce other people to do things for our benefit. Hiring an employee is an example of commercial power. I see I have some typos I'll fix, but you get the picture. Commercial war. A person can use money or any material value to exert power over someone who desires that money or material. That is a way of waging commercial warfare with the objective of enslaving. A woman can use her physical beauty to ensnare a man. Her objective may be the money or other material of value to her that this man has. Men mostly use money or fancy cars to seduce women. Seduction is commercial warfare. Okay, so here you see the structure of power. It's a structure of a man or woman's body. Okay, and if you see, I've separated to the right, which is justice, or left, injustice. So there's three forms of power can be used justly or unjustly. What determines this? This is determined by the actions performed in light of Scripture, in order to see if the action was performed according to God's law or not. God's law, His moral law, which explains to us how we are supposed to apply our power, that determines if something is just or not. God says, do not lie, do not steal, do not kill. Okay? So if we infringe that, then we're acting unjustly. That's the importance of the moral law. The moral law determines justice. It defines justice. And because each nation wants to have its own personal moral law, they push away God's law, the Scriptures, and they don't want anything to do with it. They create their own law, which they know as their constitution or international law, which is at a higher level, which it's their own personal man's commandments being forced on people as true law, which it is not. Speaking truth is just. Lying is unjust. Defending a person from physical harm is just. Hitting someone for no reason is unjust. Selling a pound of something and providing the exact weight is just. Selling less than a pound of something when 1 pound is advertised is unjust. Okay? So, justice is defined by the moral law and is a way by the Creator to help people understand the proper way of applying your power, so that you don't damage someone else or that someone else doesn't harm you. Because you don't like when someone steals from you. You don't like when someone hits you or kills you. So this is the whole point, to control and limit the power and how we use it against others. God's power structure. Everything man creates just copies God's wisdom in structuring things, as man cannot create anything new. The world's power structure is no different. It is a scaled-up version of the human body. Man has made legal images of himself known to us as corporations because they copy God's wisdom of His image, which is our body. There is nothing new under the sun. There's an important saying I heard, and the Bible teaches it, right? It's nothing new under the sun, but it goes like this. It's the only thing new is the history that you have to uncover. That's the only thing new, because everything has really already happened. Nothing new under the sun. Okay, the world's power structure. I know this is an eye chart, but it's very important. The world's power structure is defined in this way. As I said, power is defined in us. We are power, and the head in the world's power structure, which someone can call the matrix, it's actually the Roman Catholic Church. What we store, the information we believe to be true in our heads, what we know, that's called religion. So in the scaled up power structure of the world, which we call the matrix, religion, institutionalized religion, is the head. You can't have it any other way, because see, when a product of religion is law, when you explain why you have a law and why you follow a law, then you're delving into religion. These are concepts that in school the powers that be do not want us to understand. And when we do not understand the power that we have and who we are, we ipso facto are enslaved, because we cannot use that power. It's similar to you having an AK-47 and some thieves are coming to steal and break into your house at this very moment, but you cannot use that AK-47. It's useless. You cannot use the power that it would give you if you did know how to use it. That's the same thing with us. We are neutralized when we don't know who we are. So the head at a corporate level, talking about the world's power structure, it's the Roman Catholic Church, which created the world's legal system. And this has the cornerstone in 534 AD by Emperor Justinian. And the importance of the Justinian Code, which all barristers and lawyers have to study in the world, without exception, made the Bishop of Rome the sole authority to interpret the Bible. That is not a simple power to have, okay? That practically makes a person God on this earth, okay? Because he interprets what Scripture means, okay? So the Justinian Code evolved into what we now know as Roman canon law, okay? That's created from the Justinian Code. Then fiduciary law produces corporate law, okay? Then terra nullius, which is this doctrine of discovery, which is now known as international law. That's a big secret that a lot of people don't want you to understand. And if you listen to anyone in the world, Trump, Putin, Xi Jinping, anyone in this world, they all submit to international law, because international law produces and has created all nation states of the world, which are corporations, okay? And then the United Nations is created as an image. It's a corporate entity representing Europe's supremacy over the world. That's what the United Nations is, okay? So anyone, I invite you, study this, because this is very important. International law is nothing more than the colonization scheme, the law that enabled and empowered and organized the subjugation of the entire world through Europe, for Europe, okay? That's all it is. So this all is derived from the Justinian Code. Rome still rules, people. It's just called Europe today. So Rome has been pragmatic, and it has found many ways to not become irrelevant. It's willing to change its name, change how its structure, and change the emperor to have a pope now. And then from a senate to have a cardinal, college of cardinals. Okay, very pragmatic. Okay, so then you see we have the extremities, and we have two flavors as well. We have the right hand and right foot Republican form of governments, capitalist economies, okay? And then we have the communist on the left, which impose socialist type economies, okay? So the governments of this world, which are corporations created by international law, their job is to control all lands, resources, and labor and economic activity for the religious power, which is the head, for the benefit of that. Okay? So they're all corporate forms of governments of the Republican and communist type. They're used as thesis, antithesis to create the synthesis. Their role is to exercise military power on behalf of the church in order to control the people's economic activity for the benefit of the church. You can read that in Unum Sanctum 1302, which is a legal document recognized in international law. Okay, read that document. You will see that governments are subjugated and owe their power and authority to the Roman Catholic Church. Okay, then we come to the scaled up power of the abdomen. This is the fiat currency system controlled via European Vatican central banks established in each nation state in the world. The Vatican couldn't turn lead into gold, but it found a way to get people to accept worthless paper as money, which it isn't. It's fiat currency. It's not the same as money. The next phase is to no longer print paper money, but instead to just input numbers in a keyboard to achieve total control over the masses. Cryptocurrency is the Trojan horse of the 21st century. Okay? And, they're using this COVID hoax, pandemic, to further this and use it as an excuse to collapse the current monetary system. The collapse of the current monetary system has already been documented. There are certain encyclicals like Laudato Si and Caritate in Veritate, which you can read. It's already since the 90s and early 2000s, and earlier than that, it has been documented that the powers that be want to change the current economic model of the world because they have found a better way to control the economies of the world. They don't need to waste 2 cents to print a euro or dollar bill. They can now just input it as digital. Less effort, okay? So, what should you do now? I tell you, I'll be the first, and I always tell people, don't believe anything that you have just read, but investigate to confirm or prove the information to be correct or incorrect. Okay? You will need to understand this information in order to know who your real enemy is, so you can defend yourself. Study the origin of these 3 areas of society, and you will find the truth, which will set you free. Don't continue to be a victim due to your ignorance of the truth. Okay? These are the 3 things that you need to study, because this is power. This is the matrix. Do not get caught up in learning against learning, because you can study many things, but if it does not help you understand what true power is and how that power is wielded in the world stage, then I'm sorry, you are wasting your time. I hope that this presentation has been of some benefit to you. There's so much more that I can go in depth, okay? But law, religion, which produces law and also gives us the calendar, it also determines what legal tender is, many things, controls and creates the law which the military has to enforce. And the military power, just to give you some insight, the military power and structure of today's world initiated with the Knights Templars, okay, around 1118, okay, and all military and presidents and governments are controlled through secret societies like the Knights Templars, which are now known as the Company of Jesus, Knights of Malta, B'nai B'rith, Rosicrucians, Freemasonry. All these organizations are tentacles of the same institution, and that's how all government and military personnel are controlled, without exception, including Muslim nations. Okay, and then, the world's central banking system based on fiat currency. It was initiated by Knights Templars as well, all right, and imposed on all nations, with the first template that they've used to replicate all over the world is the Bank of England, which a copy of that is the Federal Reserve Bank. And then, we have all their other tools, Bank for International Settlements, IMF, World Bank, European Union Central Bank, and the list goes on. But the principles are the same. So, people, it's time to get serious. It's time to take a stand and understand that your ignorance of these important principles is the reason why we are being led to the slaughter and we continually are victimized. Okay, well, may God bless all the people that seek truth and that take a stand and are always seeking to improve and learn more, to empower themselves and to be just and to defend themselves and also help other people. Have a great day, and I hope this has helped you in some way. Thank you.